Okay, just trying to get stuff set up for a little bit. Haven't done Breached for a little while, so I'll get started on that for a little bit. So, okay. Well, just making sure I got the last of my settings set up here before I get into what's going on. So, first off, I got it confirmed my father does have multiple myeloma. There are 3 stages to this cancer. He's on stage 3. And while thankfully that isn't an instant death sentence, that is a death sentence. He has, depending on how he responds to the treatment, he's got anywhere from 2 to 5 years left. He has just started his treatment, which is good. When they brought him into the hospital the previous Tuesday. Wait, was it last Tuesday? Damn it, I can't remember. Yeah, it was the previous Tuesday. He was dying. And even though my father was dying of, because his body was in the process of acute kidney failure, he still didn't want to go to the hospital, didn't want to go to the emergency room, didn't want any of that stuff. And that's really kind of irritating, but so he has been, after they diagnosed him, they took a CAT scan. They found lesions on his bones and spots in his bloodstream, and that is the cancer. So, how you get this cancer is one of really 3 ways: radiation, Agent Orange, or being around a mine. There's lots of nasty minerals and stuff like that in mines. So it took us a few days to figure everything out, and we remember he used to be an X-ray tech for several years. We thought that might have been the case, but he also used to do a lot of rock hounding. My folks lived in Utah for a few years, and they had one place that they'd love to go and do rock hounding at, and that was over in Eureka City. Eureka City used to be an old mine, an old mining town. And one moment. And they used to go there. The problem is there's lots of nasty shit there. I believe the government even used to put radioactive shit and bury it around there. Nothing is properly marked. And we're thinking that's where he got it from. So this would have been about 2013, 2014 when he first moved there, and my folks started doing that. So as of right now, he's still in the hospital. One of his kidneys is still working. The other one they're still trying to work on. The problem is the way this cancer operates is it turns your body against you. Specifically, it goes after your blood. So his white blood cells get set off and turn into plasma, and that clogs up the kidneys. But this also causes the red blood cells to not properly form, and they get crowded out, which means his red blood cell count was really low, and he was suffering from anemia. And so he had an enlarged spleen, and his body has been producing high quantities of calcium, which has also clogged up his kidneys, and that's what they've been doing at the hospital. They have been flushing his kidneys to purge them of all the excess calcium and the excess plasma. And so the fact that they got one mostly working is good, but I'd feel better if they could get the other one to work as well. So he's on chemo right now in pill form, and his appetite has started to come back, which is good, and right now they're trying to get him home. The problem is he is now qualified as disabled. And my father retired early because he was having some health problems as it is. And this really kind of stinks because now Medicare has to get involved. And because he's 64 now, he just turned 64 in the hospital. Because Medicare is involved. Oh, I got the wrong damn folder here. That's what I had. This was supposed to be the recover folder. That's why I couldn't find where I left off. Okay. So Medicare has to get involved. I spent several days trying to get the damn hospital to get off their ass and try and get his Medicare paperwork started because with what little research I've done, I found out I got a rough idea how many days it takes. And it takes, it takes weeks to get everything started, and it takes months to get stuff to actually happen. And so I spent 3 days trying to get these idiots who have a department that's supposed to help you sign up in these situations to do their damn job, and I couldn't get them to do it. I was the one that got a hold of Medicare. So I'm a little bit bitter about that. It's nice that it's done. I'm still angry because this could have been done a few days sooner, and then I could relax and focus on a few other things. But at the very least, that's started. I'm assuming he will probably be home within the next week or so, which is good. He's been getting his strength back. I know they're still working on his blood because it's a little. I think his red count is still a little off. The nice thing is his bleeding has pretty much stopped. Improper coagulation is a side effect of this cancer also. But this is going to be what the rest of his life is. What there is has changed. So the bad news is, no way in hell do my folks, or even with what little income I have the money to cover this crazy shit. So the good news is this is going to fall under Medicare because he's now disabled. And that means everything that has just happened now is considered retroactive. So it's already there. They're just going to confirm it. They're the ones who are going to be eating a lot of the hospital bills, but we're still going to have to we're going to have to cover some of it ourselves. So I have no clue how much it's going to be. I can guess it's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars because that's what this cancer does. And so it's taken about a week and a half for things here to settle down. I slept like shit for the first week that this went on. So did my mother. It's just the two of us right here since I've got siblings in other states, and they had to airlift him to another hospital 300 miles away when I brought him in. And so I'll be flying my mother out there tomorrow so she can go spend most of the 4th of July with him. And I'll stay home and deal with the animals and stuff. But yeah, the 600-mile trip in one day that's a lot. So that's kind of where everything is. I'm still kind of at a loss for some of this because we knew his health was acting up, and we thought it was his heart. And it turns out, no, it's this damn cancer, and it masks itself in your body to create other health problems. And it mimics these other health problems also. So what we thought was heart trouble was really this cancer messing up his body, eating at his bones, and going after his bone marrow. So what we're at right now is he has been finishing some of his treatment. He seems to be responding really well, which is good. But we'll see how things go because they're still trying to flush his kidneys out there because they have to get everything as functional as possible. And because we're still 300 miles away, that means visiting is kind of limited for right now. But I'm hoping maybe in the next 8 or so days he'll get discharged. Granted, then that's when we have to start dealing with the bills and financial aid and things like that. And that's going to be where things get rough. Even though his Medicare appointment, it's Social Security first. For you guys who are still young and aren't dealing with this stuff yet. Apparently, I'm learning this myself. When you have your status listed as disabled, you deal with Social Security first, and then they send you over to Medicare. I don't know why. I suspect it's for tax purposes and things like that. So they're the first ones you talk to. So for right now, at the very least, even though he's still weak, he's eating lots of food. His stamina has improved some, even though his exercise is just walking right now, breathing exercises, so he doesn't get winded as quick. And then getting up and using the restroom several times a day because they're trying to keep him as hydrated as possible to remove excess plasma and calcium out of his system. So that's everything. My life has just changed now because I am now going to be a caretaker for both of my parents. Because my mother still has cognitive issues. Some of that is mental illness from bipolar disorder, and some of it is the fact that she has dementia. So there's that. And I'm hearing noises downstairs. I'm wondering what that is, but yeah, I haven't really felt like myself for the last week. It's only been the last 2 days that I've started to feel more like me, which is nice. Been getting little bits of artwork done. The only real problem is my sleep schedule is still messed up. I've been kind of, in a way, this isn't a bad thing. Usually once it gets to be about 11 o'clock now, I'm starting to go to bed, and because I'm still not sleeping all that great, I'm waking up at 9 a.m. I'd much rather go to bed at midnight and wake up at 9 a.m. and actually sleep better. But that's kind of everything that's going on. There's me trying to keep all the family up to date on everything that's going on. Also, let's see, I need to draw Shasta's face here. Wrong panel. So I'm trying to deal with a lot of stuff at once, and trying to sort out as much of this stuff as possible, because my father's going to be very weak for several weeks, if not several months, depending on how his body recovers from what's happened. And then there's dealing with family stuff. Uh, there's family drama going on too. Not too much, thankfully, but uh, there's also my father's mental state with dealing and coming to terms with this, because he's never really been sick like this before, and he's always kind of done everything on his own. And the problem with that is he's at a point now where he needs help, and he does not like asking for help. He wants to do it and just do it himself, and he can't do that anymore. So we're all still kind of coming to terms with some of these changes. It's a real pain in the ass, and I'm just trying to figure out what I can do, because I'm unemployed right now. So I've got it. What I'm essentially what I'm going to be doing is several states in the U.S. you can become a caregiver for your own folks, and the government will pay you some for that. And while my mother doesn't quite reach that criteria, my father does, because he's gonna be weak. His mind's gonna be foggy, somewhat, because his body has been out of balance for a while, and we're kind of angry at him, and I should have backed my mother up on some of this, because maybe we could have gotten him to the hospital or a doctor a month earlier. Maybe we could have caught him a little bit earlier on in stage 3, because we don't quite know how far into stage 3 he is. But I can guess from what I've read on Google and from other stories I've heard from people who have this online. But he's got some time. The only problem is we don't know financially how crazy things are going to be. So that's kind of everything. And I'm really dragging my ass on drawing Shasta, because I haven't recovered from everything as well as I could. I'm gonna choose another project to work on just for a little while. I'll go to the cartoon for the guy's ad, because at the very least I've got that mentally storyboarded out just a little bit more. So yeah, this is life changing, and it kind of pisses me off, just because I gotta realize every day of the week, somewhere in the world, this happens to someone's family, and it happened to my family on a Tuesday. And so now we're just trying to figure out how to take this on, because it's quite literally a day-by-day process. And that's going to slow me down artistically, because some days I'm going to have to help him out more, and some days I'm not going to have to help him out as much. But there's also things like having to learn about dealing with Medicare, dealing with Medicaid in my situation, because they're the ones who are going to be doing the caretaker. If I'm able to get paid as being his caretaker, then I will be dealing with them on my own. And then there's dealing with Social Security for a little while. It's a mess, and I know they've got people who help you with this stuff who will be doing some of the work with us. It's all dealing with government. Can't say I like that. But that's the thing, I don't want to just rely on having to deal with the government to cover this, because you can't rely on this stuff. I've been hearing about that from relatives and friends who have parents for years, that they generally do about the bare minimum, even when you get hit by something as big as this. So that's me trying to figure out how to deal with things other ways. So I would say the only at some point I'm probably going to have to do some kind of a Kickstarter. I mean, not a Kickstarter. I would say a GoFundMe, but I'm not going to use GoFundMe just because I found out that they were actually deleting certain people's GoFundMe pages and all the progress they'd made. And also GoFundMe takes 30% of what you earn. So even though I'm a little iffy about using GiveSendGo, they don't take anything. And I know they've got negativity around them on large chunks of the internet because of the whole Canadian trucker thing, since they were the ones that were supporting the truckers at the time. So I only remember that shit seems like it happened years ago because of everything that's happened over the last few months, and then especially the last week and a half. But the one thing I have realized is I hit 1,000 subs on YouTube while this was all happening. And I didn't even get a chance to really realize it up until I think a few days afterwards, but I wasn't in any condition to do anything then. And I'm still not in a lot of condition to do stuff since my mind is kind of all over the place right now, which is something I hate, because then I can't focus. And yeah, you're hearing firecrackers going off here. We have those here in Montana. Doesn't really work for the pets though. They don't like that. So I'm trying to balance out doing art and stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna need, and I guess this is a family trait as well, I'm gonna need help from you guys regarding my YouTube channel. And I don't want to be the guy that asks for money, because I really have always felt it's my job to put all the work into doing this, and then you guys get to sit back and enjoy it. But I'm gonna need help. I've got to get the channel monetized, because even if it's just a little extra money, I know once you earn, once you start able to earning on YouTube, that's a hurdle on its own, because you have to. A friend told me payouts are like $100, and that could take several months to earn. And so after you get monetized, and the problem is actually turning that income into something. So I'm gonna need help, and I need more watch time, I need more subs, I need more views, likes, and all that silly stuff. And it's funny, I've never really focused on that so much as I have trying to put out better content. But I've got to start looking into that now. And so I guess right now the first major hurdle is watch time. And I'm guessing I'm gonna, even though I hate asking this, I'm guessing you guys are gonna have to start spreading my work around a little bit, and I guess I'll see what I can do to do a little bit better with my work, so I can make stuff a little bit more watchable, even though I think I did pretty good with Dungeons in Debt. But I'm also realizing I'm probably going to have to do slightly shorter tunes for a while, because my original plan was to do minute-long tunes. Because something that's a minute every minute, if I can get 60 people to watch my stuff all the way through, that's an hour. And so that was my original plan. I think I'm going to have to go down to 30 seconds or so, and I don't know what this means for Dungeons in Debt. I've been going over my analytics on that, which were pretty solid, which makes me happy. And I got part of the way done on the next episode, and then I hit the wall, because I'm focusing on multiple different things at once that I don't have a lot of control over. But yeah, I gotta get my watch time sorted out. And the only other thing I can think of that would really help me out is more subs as well. And a lot of this is for me to figure out rather than just asking for you guys to spread my work around and things like that. But I need the extra help. Because at the very least, once you start getting, was it 4,000 subs? You can start getting brand deals, which means I have to start putting in little commercials for stuff for like coffee for shaving products and people's coffee and other things like that. If it's an extra couple $100 a month that I can do, I'll take it. So I guess right now that's what I'm trying to focus on. I'm trying to come up with a new format for shorts that's a little bit quicker and see if that helps. And then I'm trying to come up really with finishing getting some more subs so I can get more views and finish my watch time thing, because I'm 10% done with my watch time right now. You need 4,000 hours. I'm up to 400 something, like 400, a little over 400 or so hours. So I'm 10% of the way there already, which is good. But I got to do better, and my head still isn't quite straight when it comes to doing art and stuff. But I'm starting to break out of that. It's strange. In the past, I've always been able to do some kind of an art, regardless of what was going on, and now I can do little things. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do stuff. So it's like right now with Dungeons in Debt, I'm thinking it's going to have to be a little bit more of a Tom and Jerry thing than I was originally planning, because I originally did have the idea of a little story arc going on where there's other story elements in there where Red occasionally has to pay off her debt with a guild. And so then she has to deal with the Collector as a character. Let's see, I think I'm going to do that there. And then that'd be a little bit part of the story, and then I could expand on a few other small things, but I think it's going to have to be, I guess, random encounters with different problems. And maybe that's for the best. I don't know for certain. But so that's everything going on right now. The one thing I can think of for watch time that will help, and I'm going to have to do a separate video explaining this, and maybe I can do some dopey little animation for it to make it a little less painful to listen to. But I figure I just need, I don't know, 7 or 8 people to sit back and watch my drawing streams for, I don't know, 20 minutes. And I'll do what I can to be a little bit more entertaining. There we go, that's what we want. So that's my current plan. I'm going to have to be more of a streamer. And the one thing I'm contemplating doing is, I don't think I've seen anybody do this on YouTube yet. I'm sure somebody's thought about it. And that's possibly live streaming, drawing an entire cartoon. I'll have to break that up into a couple hours a day here and there. And it's let's see, that's the face right there. It's a cruel irony that the script, I will remove that bit of audio there, just so you don't have to listen to it snap. There's a cruel irony that the one script I have for how to do something that could be turned into something is my webisode pilot. I was originally thinking of doing the long-term drawing streams for doing animation on a project. I was going to be adapting the Black Swordsman chapter from Berserk, just because at the very least there is an audience for that. So instead of just relying on you guys, maybe I can grow a little bit with the Berserk fandom, get a couple extra eyes from some of the other strugglers there. I just kind of worry about about taking a risk like that. So the problem is the webisode I have is Dollars of the Damned, and that's not a very action-packed story. It's it's a story about a daughter trying to save her father, and like I said, there's a sick irony in that because that's essentially what I'm going to be doing through YouTube, and that's trying to earn some money to save my father because his situation, there's no cure for this. The treatment can possibly give him up to at the very least over 5 years of life, and I'm angry. Even though I'm not showing it, I'm angry at this, and it means I gotta open up more to you guys and tell you shit about my life. And the one thing I'm angriest most about this is my father has worked his whole life very hard, and he's always been on the straight and narrow, always took care of his family, and life has been very cruel to my folks. So we'll leave it at that for some of it. Outside of my mom's bipolar disorder, making life at home very hard. Took her, was it probably a good 7 years of therapy with one therapist who helped her get her shit sorted out, but she has post-traumatic stress from an abusive childhood, and didn't really know how to be a mother because of how damaged she was from her own childhood, and it took her a long time to really figure that out. We were poor, but because my father happened to make an extra few dollars. One moment. Get out. Come on, Mom. Jeez. One moment. Yeah. Back in a moment. So, yeah, I grew up poor, but because my father made a few extra bucks, we weren't able to get government aid or anything like that, which was ironic because I grew up poor in the 80s in California. And that was like the last economic boom we had in the US. And so I grew up damn near dirt poor around that. House I grew up in was actually foreclosed on. The previous owners got into drugs. So it was essentially a house owned by former crackheads that the bank foreclosed on. And my father was able to get us out of that. My mother was unable to work because of mental health issues, so we only had one income. There was all kinds of crazy family drama. My father was able to get us out of that because he was working 50 hours or so a week at his job. And yeah, he damaged his body doing a lot of that shit. And my father always wanted to be a writer. He's gotten to have some luck doing telling short stories through independent publishing. But yeah, my my mother's health has always kind of hit the family in various ways because of her psychological traumas, and she was a healthcare worker for several years as a phlebotomist, and there was a situation at work which re-traumatized her when she was trying to save someone's life. And then several years down the line after that, she had a stroke and had cognitive issues after that, which has turned into dementia. God damn, thinking about all this stuff is just depressing. So we'll leave it at we'll leave it at this. I've my my family is we're strugglers, always have been. Try not to bitch about it too much because there's always someone out there who's got it worse. And just try and keep your head high and make the most of what you can. And this is different. I'd always hoped that my folks would get to enjoy a quiet retirement and get to have some fun. They got 1 year. And I'm hoping at the very last maybe they can get 6 years. So I'm I'm still not entirely. I've still been processing this stuff ever since I got the news, because it's not easy. You really have to look at this one day at a time, and not every day is going to be a good day. And in my case, even though I've never been able to really hold down a job due to I've always been hit by the 7-month crash that you have when you're autistic, where all of a sudden you stop functioning at the workplace and you get let go. So creating is the one thing I've always been pretty good at. And I guess that's going to be how I try and dig my family out of this hole. Because even though, like I said, we've got some money, but nobody's got the money for all the crazy shit it's gonna hit in the hospital bills that are hitting my father, especially if you're blue collar. So my focus is trying to fill up some of the holes that have been dug here. So that's everything. Ask whatever questions you want. I'll fill you guys in as best I can, because most of it is me trying to figure out how to do things here. I've been taking on more commission work, even though I'm not functioning at 100% as an artist, which I doubt very few people would be able to, given the circumstances. But yeah, ask away. I'll fill up the silence as best I can. So yeah, I mean, at some point when I do whatever type of GoFundMe or Give Send Go, what I'm looking at doing at the very least, I'll be live streaming doing animation. And the idea is, I guess, just show off what I can do and try and create some entertainment and raise a few funds to pay off whatever medical bills or house payments or things like that around here that I can do. Because I mean, if I could get out and get a part-time job and do this at the same time, that'd be great. I don't think I can do that given the circumstances right now, because I don't know what type of condition my father's going to be in. Because as of right now, I'm going to be the only driver in the house. So that means I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the driver. I'm the cook. I do grocery shopping. I'll be filling up medications, making sure people get to their doctor's appointments on time. And I was doing a lot of that for my grandfather for several years, and that can be a full-time job. So mostly what I'm really trying to do is find some way to sort out the sort out my YouTube watch time and try and get some more subs. And I've kind of realized the only thing I can really do about that is do a fan project, and doing fan projects is risky because studios don't like it when fans put out something. Studios really don't like it when fans put out something better than licensed studios that they've hired to do that do. And my quality of work isn't that great yet, but given the situation right now where work relaxes me, I don't know. So, oh hey Soko, yeah, ASG boy. Yeah, I am now the only driver in the household. I'm also now the only person who can do any type of work, but I'm also kind of the family workforce right now. So we've got a little bit of money to pay off some of the bills. My father was able to get a little bit of insurance a month before any of this shit happened, but he didn't sign up for the government health insurance last November, and he was supposed to, and I dropped the ball on that. I should have followed up on him, but the problem is with the cancer he has, causes fogginess in the brain, among other things. And I don't know if that's because of all the excess calcium that was in his body doing that as well. Because I'm not a doctor, I only know what they told us. But it's basically everything my family has right now is in jeopardy, and we got to raise some capital while I'm trying to sort out things, because he's going on Medicare a year early because he's now disabled. If you weren't here earlier, my mother is also, she cannot drive. So we're in a position where you're stuck relying on the government, but the government's looking into everything and trying to find out if they can get away with not doing anything. And just because that's, as I've been told, that's kind of what Medicare and Social Security like to do. They like to go, nah, you have to take care of this. And they pass the buck to each other. It's irritating. So I'm trying not to be bitter, because everybody I've spoken to who has had to go through this has said you can't do that. It will eat you up. So I'm trying to be a little bit more glasses half empty, even though it's a lot to deal with right now. We're hoping he'll be home in the next week and a half, maybe sooner, depending on how well he responds to his treatment. Yeah, that's everything. I'm just trying to look right now. I need more watch time, and I need more subs, and I need all that stuff, because if I can build up my channel and finish that off, I can start bringing in a little money. Which, yeah, once you learn how to earn on YouTube, that helps. Every little bit helps. So in your opinion, that's literally any insurance? Yeah. Well, I've never been able to really hold down a job myself. The longest I held down a job for was 20 months at Stanford, back when I was a Braille transcriber. I only got the job because I had friends who worked there, and they needed somebody to work there, and I was able to learn Braille so-so. I've still got my Braille documents. There aren't any Braille transcribing jobs here where I live. But I still have the documents and could build that skill back up if I had to. I can't read. By finger. Sensitivity is not good. So, but yeah, I'm thinking doing something kind of crazy. So, I'm contemplating streaming myself animating the first chapter of Berserk and see if I can't get some donations to a Give Send Go that way. Although I don't like asking people for money, and given the situation, I would rather ask 100,000 people for $1 than asking 1,000 people for $100 or so, just because everybody's got a buck they can spare, and then it's a minimal then it's not an inconvenience, because I've several times in my life I've been down to the point where I've only had a couple $100 in my account or $100 in my account, and you got to be careful with how you spend, but you've always got a buck you can lose. I mean, shit. Even though my folks have never had much money either, they always would hang on to their change, and they would have bum money. So if they ever passed by somebody on the street that needed a buck, my folks always had a buck to give. So I'm kind of looking at I think I'm kind of looking at streaming myself doing Berserk. It's not something I really want to do. I don't have a choice, so I got to take a chance with something, and that's kind of the one I've got all of like one or two fan projects that I could do, where there's a community out there that would actually like to sit back and watch somebody do something like this. Because I've only got a very small fan community right now. So, but at the very least, get more views so I can get more watch time. Because once I get I gotta get the 4,000 hours. I'm 10% of the way there, and I could do video game streams. Everybody does video game streams, and I'm not entertaining enough to pull that off. I don't quite have the energy for that also, given what's going on right now, because I got to be careful with that. So I'm also not sure about just doing basic fan art drawing streams, just because I never know what people are interested in. It's I guess I should probably start asking you guys more what you're interested in watching, because as of right now, I'm reassessing everything that I do and how I do stuff, and trying to see if maybe I can do something a little bit faster, because I do need to put out more content, since I'm going to have to crutch on YouTube for just a little while. Well, if I'm lucky, a little while. God only knows what's going to happen between now and if I ever cross that threshold. It's an uncomfortable situation to be in. Even though for some reason, as anxious as I am about it, I don't have the impending sense of doom about this, which is good. I don't know if I'm just numb or what. But yeah, this has been really trying on the mind. And so I'm looking for ways to build myself back up and how to move forward. Also, how to still be able to create, because I don't function if I'm not creating. I need this. helps me feel normal. So that's everything. Feel free to ask away about what else is going on. There we go. I got a head dip, head elevation. There. So what this little character is going to do here is shift over into the camera. And that requires a head dip going down. And I will have to do another frame or so. And I want this to be quick, so it's going to be on 2s. This is what 2s looks like. You can see how jerky that is. This is what 1s look like, which are even faster. There's no nuance there, though. And you don't want that. So what I always like to do is I start off with at least 2 frames here at the start of the next shot. And then, because he's shifting in closer to you, have him drop down there. The size of the head is increased just a little bit. And then it's got to get even closer up here. And because I want just that hint of a vish, I guess you could call it. There we go. And then I just do a little bit of cannibalization. And then, let's see, I think this was 130. Let's take a look. Okay, that's good. 130 it is. So, and then I increase this just a hair. So let me decrease my screen size just a little bit, because when you have really large images like this on this computer, they're slow. You don't get the full effect of what the frame speed is. There we go. There we go. So his head is supposed to pull in forward, and the problem I got right now is the facial expression is static. Now he's already got these big cartoony eyes, so to get around that, I just go for his eyebrows. And because I'm trying to get just that little bit of facial motion with this. Because when you do stuff, your face changes. Let me shut the window because I gotta sneeze. Oh, okay. I guess I don't have to sneeze. Ah, it's hay fever. So, I'm still doing my thing about trying to create a little bit more life in the characters I use here. So that's step 1. Step 2, head up. So step 2, we need to shift the lower eyelids just a little bit there. There we go. and then lower the pupils because he's got to be, I'm trying to keep the pupils focused center. So, as a matter of fact, I also need to do that because we create the impression that the pupils are locking on to something. Fix that eyebrow right there. Okay. So the pupils need to lock on to something, because that's what our eyes do when you look at stuff. You create the eye. It just creates a little bit more authenticity. Say, I think a 5 would do. Oh Christ, no. That's too much. There we are. Okay, so got that little bit right there. Check pupil position. It's doable. It's not great. So yeah, on the bright side, I got to drive 3 hours across state the other day, and found out what my driving limit is. I can drive for a good solid 2 hours and not really feel it. Once you get past that 2 hours and 10-minute mark, though, that's when it starts to really get to you, and it's strange. Kind of feels like you're not making any progress or getting anywhere, and every minute starts feeling like it's a good 6 or 7 minutes in length. It's kind of crazy, but it was a mostly pleasant drive. The only problem was my AC wasn't working, and the car was operating kind of like a heat sink in a computer. So it was hot, and my mom and I kept having to roll down the windows and actually just let the air come in naturally. And it wasn't even that hot of a day. It was only about 80. But damn, it felt an extra 10 degrees inside. So yeah, the drive there was a little bit more pleasant than the drive back, just because it was a little less hot. But yeah, I got to drive through the state. Oops. These kind of shrink a little bit. Matter of fact, I gotta shift that over there. So it was at the very least, it was a nice drive. I almost got pulled over because my vehicle's tags are expired. I had to get temporary tags, which isn't pleasant. The problem is my title is in a box, and that box is in another state. And I thought I had the title with me, so I had to go get temporary tags. And I've been waiting for the last few weeks for my title to arrive in the mail. And it turns out that damn title ain't going to arrive in the mail until maybe a week from now at the earliest. So, yeah, it doesn't look too terrible. Still seems just a little jittery. When it gets to look jittery like that, there we go. When it gets to be a little too jittery like that, sometimes that means you got to shift the frame out of the way a little more. So, as we were leaving the hospital, within 15 minutes on the freeway, I see the Montana State Patrol parked on the side of the road, and I'm half expecting them to follow me. And sure enough, about 2 minutes after that, while my mom is on the phone with my grandmother letting her know what's going on, I see a vehicle pull up behind me, and it's got one of those big-ass radar antennas on it, and he's pacing me. So he's sticking to where I'm in position, and I know what it is. It's the state. It's the state highway patrol, and I'm half expecting the lights to go on. And then after 2 minutes of them, he finally just pulls off and pulls over to my left, and I double check the side of the vehicle, and sure enough, yeah, it says Montana State Highway Patrol on it. And so he was checking me, and it's a damn good thing I had that temporary tag, because I don't need a ticket. But yeah, life here has been very different than California. For starters, last week when I went for a walk, I see something on the street that doesn't look right. It's very slender and it's very curved, and it's a snake. It's a baby rattlesnake. And I knew it was. I thought it was a snake at first. I was wondering if it was dead, and then I see the tail. Not the tail, the tongue shoot out the mouth. And the instant I see the tongue shoot out the mouth, I freeze. Now, I'm about 5 feet away from the snake, and it's a baby. And if you know anything about baby rattlers, you know that the poison that they have is more dangerous than an adult rattler because they don't regulate their venom, so it's more concentrated, I believe. So I walked around it, went home, got my mom, because my mom loves snakes, showed it to her, and then we had to let the neighbor know that, by the way, there's a baby rattlesnake on your property. You might want to do something about that, because there are kids all over this place. And it turned out that there's already 2 people in the neighborhood area who've been bit by rattlers already. So can't do that because there's too many kids, there's too many pets, and so now when I go out for walks, I have to keep an eye open. Don't like doing that because I like to, when I go for walks, I like to let my mind wander. That's where I come up with my ideas for scripts, for animations and stories and stuff. And I kind of can't do that because if there's one baby rattlesnake in the area, there's more. Let's see. So I got to get this head shape back down to. I want to try and match this so it's about the same. Oh, good. Oh, good. That may have just saved me a few moments. Yeah. So it's not perfect. I'll have to. Actually, no, that is perfect. Oh, kick ass. So yeah. Yeah, where I live, I'm not too far from some of the more desert area. I think that might be actually a good 70 miles north from where I am. But yeah, where I live, there's all kinds of wildlife. There's deer, there's antelope, there's snakes, there's frogs, which is odd because we have thunderstorms and rain that are real heavy here. But we also have a real bad dry season, and having frogs around is kind of a death sentence for the frog. Can't say I like that because I like animals. I also like animals to stay away. Let's see, too bad. Too bad. There we go. Yeah, the guy's line here is too bad. And then he cuts into a little diatribe. So this is the first shot. The first shot over here is done. I finished this the other night. So I have not written the script for this at all. This is the other guy's script for his commercial. So here's the first shot.
Hey you, do you want a lollipop?
Hey, that doesn't look too bad. So
Hey you, do you want a lollipop?
I could probably do a little bit better
Hey you, do you want a lollipop?
on the L mouth movement.
Hey you, do you want a lollipop?
But yeah, this is his script. It's a fun little script. So everything is supposed to be dirty looking and like it's something that this salesman here pieced together on his own. I got to add the right sound effects to some of this stuff.
Hey you, do you want a lollipop?
Yeah, well, his next line is pretty good. I like the script he had for this because it's he wanted something weird with the guy, so I was the one that came up with the head contorting out like a snake.
Hey you, do you want a lollipop?
And everything here has this weird surreal look to it. Yeah, the curtain pulling was my idea because you can see the holes in the curtain, and you can see it kind of doesn't really work. And then you can see the holes in the back, and everything's kind of in tatters and things like. I need to add more tatters up here actually, so it catches your attention. So yeah, Nick said they don't want to hurt you if you don't scare them. They're just defending themselves because we're so big compared to them, and they're scared. So human starts to scream, make unusual movements, they'll not hurt you. Yeah, I know that, and I would normally try and catch one of these things and maybe drive 30 miles out of town and put it out there. The problem is there are there's got to be 100 little kids in the area around here. And there's also a lot of people's pets. And there's a lot of old people here who go for walks. And then the last part of the problem is the real problem. That is, there's a lot of grass here. And they will hide in the grass. And a baby snake bite is fatal for for kids who are under 10 and adults who are over like 70 from what I've been reading. Because if it was up to me, I'd just grab it and go put it somewhere else. Because I can walk by and ignore it. But there's so many little kids here, and there's so many old folks here, and they're not going to be paying attention. And I had to let the neighbor know about it, and her husband took care of it. Because I'm okay. I've never been around rattlesnakes. I know not to do anything to irritate them. I know that they want space, and I know they want, you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. But it's too much of a hazard for people's kids around here. I actually got thanked by a few of the neighbors already for letting them know about the baby rattler because, well, they're a thing around here. And you gotta be careful about them because not everybody's going to pay attention to them. And that's a sad thing about living with nature around here. Some of the stuff you can adapt to, and then some of the stuff is just you gotta kill it for everybody's safety, and I don't like that because I like to I like to sit back and watch snakes do their thing because when I animate stuff, I like to study how animals move and things like that. I would rather it get left alone. But I couldn't do that in this case because it was on somebody's property over by their house. So I had to let them know about it, and I don't know. I didn't see any marks like they'd killed it. So I'm kind of hopeful that maybe they they put it somewhere else. But the problem also is we get a lot of apparently we get a lot of rattlesnakes around here. And the fact that we've already had 2 people bitten around here, that's not good. So personally, like I said, I'd rather just let them be. You know, my mom said she wished we just had hog-nosed snakes around here, because then she could get a hog-nosed snake and keep it in a little glass cage, and then she could watch it eat and take care of it, because my mom likes hog-nosed snakes. And it's a shame, because it was a beautiful snake. It really was. And I know he was probably not too old, but had to think of other people's kids walking around here, because it's small town America here, and you have lots of really small kids running around on bikes and just playing and doing stuff, and they're oblivious to everything.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey you, do you want a lollipop?
I think I'm going to shrink his head just a little bit back here so it can be just a hair more dynamic. But yeah, personally, I'm more comfortable leaving nature alone and just letting it have its own space when I can. But then again, to let you guys know, we had an incident in this house when we first moved in here. All of a sudden, at one night, back when I was still sleeping downstairs, because upstairs we hadn't even finished setting up, I'm seeing the cats react really wild to something at night. And they keep looking up. And they're looking at something. And I'm thinking it's a moth, because it does get hot here. Sometimes, you leave windows open and moths and bugs get inside. And then I start hearing flapping noises. And so I turn on the light, and it's a bat. It is probably barely a pound. But we have a bat inside our house flying around, and we're not sure how it got inside. So what ends up happening is I have to wake my father up. And first thing we do is try and calm my mother down, because both my folks worked in healthcare briefly, so they know how dangerous bats are. Which is funny, because they're just little mice with wings almost. But you don't want to get bitten by them, because they do carry rabies. And a rabies shot in California or Washington, according to my uncle, was like 20 grand. So my father and I spent 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. You've been in this situation too? Yeah. We spent 20 minutes trying to chase this damn bat out. And we're trying to show some mercy and not have to kill the damn thing, but it's getting to the point where we're probably going to have to kill the damn thing. But you don't want dead bat guts in your house if you can avoid it. And so what ended up happening is we lose it somehow. It vanishes. We spend 20 minutes looking for where it could have hidden. And so we figured, okay, we had 2 doors open. The cats are locked up. The dogs are locked up. Maybe it flew outside. So after that, we go to bed. And then the next night, I'm seeing the cats react again. It's another bat. And we're trying to figure out how the hell are they getting inside? Well, we found out how they're getting inside. The following, this one we got out. So we got out of the house. The next day, our neighbor lets us know we have bats at night who fly down our chimney into the cellar. And so we've got a colony of bats in our cellar. Well, the first thing my mom looks at is, okay, who do we call for pest control? You can't kill these bats. They are protected. You have to wait until September for them to leave on their own, and then you seal off any cracks. So how they've been actually getting in to the house is the floor paneling up against the wall has gaps in it. The house we live in is over 100 years old, so it was the wood in the foundation have shifted some in the last 100 years. So there have been these cracks there. So my father and I had to just go get some stucco and some other stuff to fill in all these gaps. And then after we did that, we didn't have any bat problems for a while, but because we had other stuff going on, we didn't get the chimney sealed off yet. Which given everything now, we're not going to get a chance to do that until September. So we've got bats underneath the house, and I actually had to wake my father up. Again, what was it? Like before all the health shit that's hit him has been happening. We had one more bat sneak inside, and we had to check all the floorboards and everything, and we found like one spot. And that's where we assume he came from. So the downside is this last one wasn't as interesting a story. He got his claws stuck in my mom's curtain, so we just took the curtain outside, opened it up, and waited for him to get his claws out of there and leave. So it wasn't like the other times where we had to cover ourselves up with coats and use towels and blankets to try and keep him from going certain places and escaping. The real problem for all this was my mother just kind of wanting to see what was going on. We kept having to chase her out. But yeah, so we've got bats, we've got deer, we've got snakes, we've got foxes, and Montana is grizzly country. We don't have grizzlies here from what I've seen, but you gotta be aware. 'Cause over in Billings, which is 3 hours away from where I live, they just had a hiker get mauled by a grizzly. And I think the problem was he went alone. And you can't do that. You can't do that here. You gotta have a certain amount of protection, from what I'm reading. Or you have to be very, very experienced, and even then, being very, very experienced isn't going to do much if you've got a damn 600-pound grizzly that's hungry. So yeah, there's all these animals around here. So for the one animal that everybody could do without outside of the baby rattlesnakes are the damn mosquitoes, because the mosquitoes are nasty here. Jeez, and the bites itch like hell. And so the mosquitoes are very aggressive here, and they're very quick. So and the problem is, even some of that fancy bug spray they got that's supposed to work, we got some high strength deep woods off. The mosquitoes were just probably laughing at us for that. So yeah, I've got bites all over my arm, and it kind of limits when I can go outside and go for walks now, which I don't like, because I like going outside for walks, but I don't like getting chewed up by mosquitoes. They end up having to spray for them here also. Let's see, he's going to need a blink, so you can see the eyes, it only kind of works. And I'm not getting much exaggeration with the... Oops. Oh, I messed that up. That's why that didn't look right. Need a little bit more exaggeration with his eyebrows. But yeah, other than some of the wildlife issues here, like mosquitoes and baby rattlesnakes, I like it here. But yeah, all the crazy financial bullshit situation we're in right now, it's going to make a lot of changes, most likely. But some of that depends on getting Medicare and Social Security to actually do their job with a little bit of promptness. So yeah, that's all the excitement that's been going on over here. I'm just happy I've finally been sleeping better for the past few days. Instead of waking up at about 4 or 5 in the morning and then just kind of feeling like having that anxiety where you can't sleep and you know you're not going to be able to sleep, so you have to get up and do stuff, but you also have to get sleep. Because if you don't, you can't function during the day. And considering how much of my day gets spent updating family members about what's going on and checking in on my father, making sure he's okay, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Yeah. Okay. The eyebrow plan isn't quite gonna work. So I think we're just gonna have to go back to his more traditional eyebrows here. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to find a way to improve my live streams. And so far, the only thing I can think of that would make everything a little bit more interesting is doing fan animation, because I don't have the audience to do my own stuff and do that, but doing some fan animated projects will help a little bit. I'm going to do just a little bit of this, so I'm going to try and create a little bit of a motion blur here, because that will create some more life. Because yeah, I was thinking about doing Team Fortress 2 animations, but I haven't been able to get back into doing that. And some of it is me, and some of it, unfortunately, is the stress of just everything that's been going on. So I'm doing my damnedest to break out of that, because one, at least I feel like I'm doing something when I'm working, and that's really therapeutic, I guess, because I want to earn some money. I want to take care of my damn family. So, because my folks aren't in a position where they can do much, and I've always been able to draw and animate and do stuff. And yeah, it's really only been the last year that I've leveled up. But I got to do something, otherwise I'm going to go crazy. Because that's the problem when you got a family member in the hospital. You have the uncertainty, and then you don't feel like you're doing anything. Even though you could do 6 or 7 little things in a day, it doesn't feel like anything. Okay, this is almost done. So I'm gonna do this just for the sake of this being a little bit more dynamic. Because you can see now there's just that little more hint of life here. So I know I could also probably do commission work for you guys, but I've actually still got Mando's piece that I've only done a little bit of work on, because everything started to go to shit in the last 3 weeks when he first asked me to draw his D&D character. I think the last thing we're going to do is have his eyes. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I think we have life now. It's only a little bit. But I think this is going to do it. Okay, I've got to put this on ones. Okay, one last little bit here, and then we're good. At least I'm getting something done today. I was trying to do a little bit of animation earlier, and it's plotting. It's because of where my mindset is right now. So, in order to create a little bit more of an illusion that things aren't always square and blocky here, we'll do this. Give him the classic cartoony round eyes. There we are. And because his eyes look a little off, just put this in right there. Just that little bit of extra lighting there also to, you know, add some depth to it. Whew. You know, he looks a little too intense now. Yeah, he's looking a little too intense. Let's see. So when a character looks a little too intense like that, I think if I remember correctly, you get away with that by doing this. So it's now it's just a little bit more gentle. I think that'll do. And then I like to check the flow on things and see how everything looks.
Hey, you! Do you want a lollipop? Do you want a lollipop?
Okay. Let's see if I can time this a little bit. I'm going to put his second line in right about here.
Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message. Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre...
Let's see.
Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message.
There we are.
Up. Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message.
Okay. It's looking better.
Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message. Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message.
Yeah, I'll have to add some in-between frames there too.
Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is...
So part of the reason I have 2 frames there is because I want his lower jaw to move when he speaks, as you can see here.
Hey, you! Do you want a lollipop?
So I'm keeping it simple. I've just got 2 frames for talking right now. And so yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Hey, you! Do you want a lollipop? Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message.
So I will have to add another head pose here, because you can see it looks a little bit more organic to have his head
Well, shut up! I can't hear you.
change positions here and there, and you can see the lower jaw move and things like that. That adds a lot of life, I find, anyways. And it's a nice line.
Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message.
You know, oh, that's the tongue stud, right? I mean, that's the chin stud right there. Yeah, that's what this dot right there is. He's got a chin stud, so that gets animated separately.
Hey you! Do you want a lollipop? Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message. Up! Well, shut up! I can't hear you. This is a pre-recorded message. I can't hear you.
So I will add one more there. So, but either way, so that's today's stream. It's a little shorter than I was going to do normally, but I actually got a little bit of work done, and I at least let you guys know some of what's going on, some of the facts surrounding everything, and what's going to happen now. I still don't know what it's going to mean for my production, but I'm going to have to start doing shorter tunes here, because I think I can do a 30-second tune a month, depending on what it is. And I've also got to work on my humor a little bit more, because God knows I need to laugh and smile a little bit more now too. But I think Dungeons in Debt, it's going to have to be, my direction for it is going to have to change a little bit. But I want to get a second episode of that done ASAP, because hell, this is my birthday happening this month. I turn 42 in just about a week. So I want to try and get an accomplishment of some kind going on. I also need to get back and do Joy Comics, because I wasn't able to finish last month's comic once I got the news for what was going on. And I also need to get a little bit more work done on that series also. But so that's everything for this stream right now. I will do a condensed version of everything I've explained, just to let you all know what's going on, how you can support me, and how you can help my channel grow, because I'm going to need help. I don't like asking for help, because it's kind of my job to do a lot of this stuff, but I need all the help I can get. So just got to work on that watch time. So other than that, that's everything for right now. I'm gonna go make some dinner, and then I gotta sort out my mom's 4th of July flight tomorrow, so she can go spend the day with my father. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm hoping things improve here, and I'm also hoping my father can get that 5 years, because God knows he earned that shit a long time ago. So I will probably do another stream tomorrow, because I'm going to have the day to myself. Oh, hey Nick, yeah, I've got a small bit of work on your project done. It's mostly just been me recovering from the last few days, and that drive was vicious. So I've just got a little bit of crude work for you to see. So I will talk to you. I'll end the stream now, and then I will go talk to Nick about some stuff. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, because I need to keep my eye on the ball. I need to work, because I gotta get back to doing stuff. It helps me function. So good night.